Did you know that there is a Marina general whose power is so absurd that he was able to reduce the strength of a gold saint to just 1% without even needing to touch his opponent? Hello, Knights of Amazon. Welcome to the Sempre Quis Saber channel. I'm Wes, and today we're going to meet the 4 Marina generals whose power matches that of the gold saints. Many believe that they are inferior to Athena's defenders, but the truth is that the high command of the Emperor of the Seas harbors warriors who not only match, but could easily surpass some gold saints in a direct fight. So go ahead and comment which 4 generals you think will be on this list, and of course, click like, subscribe to the channel, activate the notification bell, and let's get into this awesome video. Sempre quis. To understand the level of these warriors, we first need to look at what they wear. Unlike the gold armors that are made of orichalcum, germanium, and stardust, Poseidon's scales are forged with a mysterious orichalcum from the depths, emitting a golden glow that rivals the sun. While Athena's knights need years of physical and spiritual training to earn an armor, Poseidon's scales choose their hosts based on latent potential and cosmo-resonance. This means that when the Marina general is summoned, he already has a base cosmo equivalent to the 7th sense. And when we talk about the Big 4, we're talking about individuals who have transcended that base, reaching levels of power that defy the logic of the 12 zodiac temples. Number 1, Kanon of Sea Dragon, the strategist who deceived the gods. We couldn't start with anyone else. Kanon is technically the archetype of the warrior who became the mentor from the shadows. Twin brother of Saga of Gemini, Kanon has a history of rebellion that changed the fate of the world. Born on May 30th in Greece, he has always been the personification of the more chaotic side of the Gemini constellation. Standing 1.88 meters tall and weighing 87 kilograms, his physical presence is as imposing as his genetic heritage. His story in the realm of Poseidon begins after being imprisoned by Saga in the Cape Sunion prison. It was there, in a moment of desperation, that he felt a god's cosmo, saving him from certain death by drowning. Kanon found Poseidon's trident in a submerged cave, and by freeing the soul of the Emperor of the Seas, he not only became the Sea Dragon Marina general, but also manipulated the entire underwater army. Kanon not only matches the gold saints, he is a gold saint himself in terms of lineage and training. During the Poseidon saga, he demonstrated that his technique, the Golden Triangle, a variation of another dimension, was capable of banishing opponents to space-time rifts. Later, in the Hades saga, we saw Kanon face Rhadamanthys of Wyvern, one of the judges of the underworld, with frightening ease, proving that his strength is superior to many gold saints like Deathmask or Aphrodite. His tactical intelligence makes him one of the most powerful characters in the entire franchise, being the one truly responsible for triggering the conflict between gods. He masters the Imperial Satan, a mind control technique that few in the Saint Seiya universe can execute with such perfection. Number 2, Krishna of Chrysaor, the warrior of the Golden Lance. If Kanon is cunning, Krishna of Chrysaor is spiritual brute force. Born in Sri Lanka on August 10th, Krishna is the guardian of the Indian Ocean Pillar. He is 1.87 meters tall and weighs 80 kilos of pure combat focus. He is not just a soldier, he is a mystic who uses the power of Kundalini, the cosmic energy that resides in the chakras of the human body, which goes far beyond the simple burning of conventional cosmo. Unlike the gold saints who focus on the speed of light, Krishna focuses on the impenetrable barrier and absolute attack. His weapon, the Golden Spear, is said to be a divine inheritance from Poseidon, capable of piercing anything in the universe. During his battle against Dragon Shiryu, we saw that the spear not only pierced the dragon's shield, considered the toughest among the bronze armors, but also left Athena's saint with no options for defense. What really puts Krishna on the level of the gold saints is his ultimate technique, the Maharoshini, the Great Illumination. When he abandons the spear and sits in the lotus position, he emits a light so intense that it follows and disintegrates the opponent's cosmo. By awakening his 7 chakras, he creates a spiritual barrier that no ordinary physical attack can break through. To defeat him, Shiryu had to awaken Excalibur and visualize the exact points. As for Krishna's Kundalini, if he were facing a gold saint without a spiritual cutting technique or someone who didn't understand the flow of internal energy, Krishna would probably win by exhausting his opponent. His defense is directly comparable to Kandashaka of Virgo. Number 3, Sorento of Siren, the Mage of Destruction. Here we arrive at the answer to the question from the beginning of the video. Sorento of Siren, the guardian of the South Atlantic Pillar, is perhaps the mariner the Gold Saints fear most. Born in Austria on February 1st, Sorento has an angelic and refined appearance, standing 1.78 meters tall and weighing 75 kilograms. However, his flute hides one of the most lethal techniques in the entire story, the final symphony of death. Sorento was able to face Aldebaran of Taurus and leave him completely vulnerable. The music from his flute doesn't attack the physical body or the armor, but instead directly targets the opponent's central nervous system and Cosmo. Once the sound enters the opponent's ears, their fighting strength is reduced to just 1%. Aldebaran, one of the physically strongest Gold Saints, had to burst his own eardrums to try to escape. And even so, it didn't work, because the sound resonates directly in the mind and soul. The final climax of death is a move that squeezes the enemy's heart until the body is destroyed. Sorento is the group's mage. He doesn't need powerful punches because he nullifies the opponent's ability to react. In the manga, he survived the end of the war and traveled the world with Julian solo, showing that his Cosmo is resilient and evolved. He is the perfect counter for brute force warriors like Taurus, Leo, or Scorpio, because their needles or lightning would lose 99% of their effectiveness before even getting close to Sorento. Number 4, Isaac of Kraken, the Heir of Ice. Isaac of Kraken is a warrior whose story is intrinsically linked to the elite of the Sanctuary. Born in Finland on March 28, Isaac is 1.74 meters tall and weighs 71 kilograms. He is not just a Marina general, he is the man who should have inherited the Cygnus cloth, or maybe even the Aquarius cloth. Isaac trained in the icy lands of Siberia under the tutelage of the Crystal Saint in the anime, or under Camus of Aquarius himself in the manga, alongside Hyoga. During his years of training, Isaac was always the exemplary student, focused on cold justice and the duty to protect the land. However, his life changed tragically on a stormy day when Hyoga tried to dive to see his mother at the bottom of the sea. Hyoga was caught by a deadly current, and Isaac, without hesitation, dove in to save him. In the process, he was struck by an iceberg in his left eye and dragged into the depths. He was saved by the legendary monster Kraken and taken to Poseidon's realm, where he realized that Hyoga's sentimental weakness and the corruption of the Sanctuary were threats to world order. What makes Isaac a gold-level warrior is his Aurora Borealis technique. Unlike the common diamond dust, Isaac's attack carries the fury of the polar sea currents. His freezing ability is equivalent to that of the Gold Saints of Aquarius. Isaac doesn't fight with hatred, but with a cold conviction that Poseidon must purify the world. During his battle against Hyoga at the Arctic Pacific Pillar, he showed that his physical endurance and control over low temperatures were enough to seriously injure a bronze saint who already possessed the seventh sense. If he were protecting one of the 12 houses, the sanctuary would have a guardian as relentless as Camus himself. The scar in his eye is a constant reminder that mercy is a flaw he does not intend to repeat. When we analyze these 4 warriors, we realize that Poseidon's army is not just a weak version of the sanctuary. They represent different types of danger that challenge the pillars of Athena's elite. Kanon is the mastery of dimensions, the mind, and the legacy of the twins. Krishna is the spiritual barrier of Kundalini that challenges the speed of light. Sorento is the absolute sensory control that reduces any power to 1%. Isaac is the master of icy energies and the rigorous training of the Siberian elite. In an open war, if these 4 generals were coordinated, the sanctuary would have serious problems. Imagine the difficulty of facing Isaac's freezing power, while your strength is being drained by Sorento's flute. All this while trying to get past Krishna's sacred spear. It's a combination of abilities that requires not only strength, but a deep understanding of the essence of Cosmo. The Marinas were defeated by the Bronze Saints, not because of a lack of raw power, but because the protagonists carried Athena's determination and the miracle of the hero's blood in their armor, allowing them to surpass human limits. However, in terms of status and abilities described in their origins, these 4 generals are undoubtedly members of an elite that the world rarely sees emerge. Remember, guys, that the 7 Marina generals awakened their arcane scales in the manga Saint Seiya, Rise of Poseidon. These scales are equivalent to the divine armors of the Bronze Saints, who received Athena's blood. However, in this case, the Marinas received Poseidon's blood. So, all of them reached a very high level of power in the Rise of Poseidon saga, which is an official Saint Seiya spin off manga focused on the Marina generals and the battle against the goddess Nemesis. Did you like the video? Then leave a comment so I know, of course. Thank you for watching until the end and see you next time. Burn your Cosmo to infinity.